Welcome back to the Hooks Nation. This episode featuring Aussie. And today we're going to be reinstalling our weights, our pins, and our spring. So before you reinstall anything, you're going to want to replace or fix any of the parts that broke or whatever reason you took your clutch apart for, like routine maintenance and stuff. You're going to want to clean it, like I said before, and do whatever you have to do. So first, you're going to want to put your new weights or old weights with new pins and whatever else back into the spots. You have to remember the bolt goes in this way. That's because the motor spins a certain direction, and that's where it has to go. When putting it in, you can shove one finger inside the clutch and push the pin in, and that will help wiggle it in there, because sometimes you can have problems. So just shove the pin in, put all the nuts off to the side. The pin goes in the same direction for all the weights. Had a little bit of trouble on that one, but as soon as I got my finger in there and wiggled it around, it was all good. Now you can just lightly put all the nuts back on the pin. Just put them on there, a couple of little turns to keep them on there. Do this to each one, and then we're gonna get the ratchet and Allen key back on her. All good on there. This is a 1/8 Allen key, and it's a 1/4 inch drive ratchet with a 3/8 socket long. I found out that if you use a 3/8 ratchet sized 3/8 socket, they can be too fat to fit into here. So you're going to want to use the 1/4 size. Now don't tighten these too much. You don't want to over tighten them because they can strip out. And the pin, yes, it does have a little bit of play in it, and it can still turn a bit when it's tight. That allows for easy movement of the weights when the clutch is opening and closing. That was tight enough right there. When you've done this, you're just going to want to throw the spring back on top, and then we're going to work on putting it back together on the top. Golden primary spring. Now when you took off your clutch, you should have marked out where it sat on there. So on this one, I have a mark here on the top piece I came off, and a mark there on the clutch. So I'll remember exactly where it came. So you're just going to set this on top of here, nice and square with your 2 marks lined up, and you're going to lift up on the top part of the clutch that can float up and down. You can grab your ratchet or little speed thing and tighten up a couple of them, because once you have a couple of them tightened down a bit, the rest of them will go on there really good. You're going to use a crisscross method for this too. You don't want to kink it sideways or anything. And if you do end up accidentally kinking it in a certain direction when it's sliding down on the shaft of the plate, because it's quite a nice fit inside this bearing surface, like that would be called the bearing or slide, I guess. And if it kinks sideways, just loosen off the certain side bolts that you need, because it'll unkink itself. So once you have these about as down as far as you think you can use a 3/8 drive ratchet on here, and that's just to tighten them down to a nice snug fit. Obviously not too much, because it's not very strong threads and stuff. I'm not actually sure if there is torque specs on these bolts, which there probably is, so it'd be easy to find them in maybe someone else's YouTube video or online, because you should know that. Just because I'm not putting this clutch on anything, so I'm not worried about if these are torqued to spec or not. So get them all down snug. You use your crisscross method so it didn't end up kinking itself onto the shaft. These are 7/16, all 6 of them. Another crisscross order. You're going to want to go over them maybe twice, because when it's leveling itself out, the one you started on might have become loose. You have just now successfully added new spring, weights, and pins to your clutch, or the old ones back in, or whatever else you had to switch, check, take apart. The clutch should now move freely up and down. This one, they're going to be hard to push depending on what color spring you have in there, because they each have different weights to the spring. For this one, I can slide up and down on the shaft just a little bit, and I think that's good enough. So make sure you had it lined up. Check it over. Make sure there's nothing you accidentally dropped in there maybe at one point in time when you're doing another project or something. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to subscribe for more videos in the future.